Okay, so just a very quick video on simplifying surds, and I've just got some rules here. So rule number 1 just simply states that if we have the root of a multiplied by the root of b, that is equal to the root of all of ab. Let's give you an example. Root of 2 multiplied by the root of 3 is the root of 6. Okay, so let's look at example number 2. If we've got the root of 12 divided by the root of 2, that is the same as 12 over 2, which is the root of 6. Number 3 says that if we have the square root and we square our square root, so let's say we have 2 and we square it, that is the same as doing root 2, which is just simply 2. Number 4 is used for simplifying surds. So say, for example, we have 12. That can be written as 4 times 3. Well, our a squared is 4 then, so we have root 4 multiplied by root 3, so that can be written as 2 root 3. And then simply 5 is a consequence of 3, so if you have a root of 3 multiplied by root 3, that just gives 3. Okay, so let's have a look at 5 examples of simplifying some surds. Okay, so let's do the root of 8. Let's do the root of 20. Let's do the root of 50. Let's do the root of 150. Then let's do the root of 500. And let's do 6. And let's do the root of... let's do 1,500. Okay, so the aim of this is to factor the number underneath the square root and get something a squared b. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at number 1, and I would like you to pause the video and see if you can do the rest. Okay, so we can write 8 as 4 multiplied by 2, so that can be written as 4 multiplied by 2, and the square root of 4 is 2, which gives 2 root 2. Okay, so if you haven't paused the video now, pause the video and do questions 2 to 6. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video. So let's write 4 times 5 gives 20, root 4, root 5, 2 root 5. We've got 150, so I'm going to say 25 multiplied by 6, and that is the root of 25 times the root of 6, which is 5 root 6. We've got 500, so I'm going to say 100 multiplied by 5, so that's the root of 100 times the root of 5, which is 10 root 5. And 1,500, I'm going to say 100 multiplied by 15, that is the root of 100 times the root of 15, and that gives 10 root 15. Okay, you can do some other factors and you will arrive at the same answer. So for instance, let's have a look at 5. If we wanted to do a slightly different answer, we could do 25 multiplied by 20, and that just gives root of 25 times the root of 20, which gives 5 root 20. We can simplify 20 to 5 root 4 root 5, and the square root of 4 is 2, so we got 10 root 5. But it's easier to factor the biggest number out first. Okay, so let's have a look at some more examples of simplifying. I would like you, let's have a look at 6 examples. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can simplify these examples. 12 to root 5 root 30, 3 root 10 root, let's say 15, and 4, let's do root 5 root 20. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the video, and let's have a look at these. So we've got root 2 multiplied by the root of 4 times 3. Okay, so hopefully now you can recognize that this is just simply 2 root 3. And we can imagine there's a little 1 in front of there, so 1 times 2 is 2 root 6. Okay, so let's have a look at 5, root 5 multiplied by root 30. We can't simplify root 30, so we're going to do root 150, then we can do root 25 multiplied by 6, and hopefully you can recognize that is 5 root 6. Okay, so the same goes here. That just gives 150, and from question number 2 we can see that is 5 root 6. We can do this 2 ways. We can either say, well, that is root 100, which just gives 10, or we can say that is root 5 multiplied by root 4 times 5. Well, hopefully you can recognize that this is 2 root 5, and with our laws of surds, root 5 times root 5 is just 5, multiplied by 2 is 10. Okay, so let's have a look at some more very basic examples. Let's do 4 questions. Let's do root of 20 divided by root of 4. Let's do the root of 15 divided by root 5. Let's do the root of 150 divided by root 15. And let's do the root of 500 divided by the root of 10. Okay, so I like to write these usually like this. I think this is easier to visualize. So 20 divided root 20 divided by root 4 is just simply root 5. We've got root of 15, that is just simply root of 3. We've got root 150 divided by root 15, which is simply root 10. Then we've got root 500 divided by root 10, which is just root 50. We can simplify root 50 to root 25 times root 2, which gives 5 root 2. Okay, let's have a look at some more complicated questions. Okay, let's do 2 examples. Okay, so let's simplify 2, the square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 3 multiplied by the square root of 5 squared, all divided by the root of 10 times the root of, let's do root of 9. Okay, so let's use our rules of indices then. Rules of square roots rather. So that is root 6. And then we've got root 5 times root 5 all over the root of 10 multiplied by the square root of 3. Well, I hope you can recognize that the root of the same number multiplied twice is just the number underneath. So this is root 5 times 3 root 10. And we can, if you don't know how to rationalize, you can leave it like that. But if we multiply top and bottom by 10, we get 5 root 60 all over 3 times 10. 5 root 60 all over 30. And then we can divide numerator and denominator by 5 to get root 60 all over 6. And we can simplify 60 to 4 times 15 over 6 to get 2 root 15 all over 6, which is the same as the root of 15 all over 3. Okay, so let's look at one more example. Let's simplify the root of 12 plus the root of 20 minus the root of 150 minus the root of 50. Okay, so let's simplify each of these. This is 3 times 4. This is 5 times 4. This is 25 times 6. And this is 25 times 2. Okay, hopefully now you can recognize that this is 2 root 3 plus 2 root 5 minus 5 root 6 minus 5 root 2. Okay, so we can't collect any like terms together, so this is the answer. Let's try one more. Let's simplify the root of 150 minus the root of 200 plus the root of 500 plus the root of 1500. Okay, hopefully you can recognize that this is 25 times 6. This is 100 multiplied by 2. This is 100 multiplied by 5. And this is 100 multiplied by 15. Okay, so this is 5 root 6 minus 10 root 2 plus 10 root 5 plus 10 root 15. Okay, so we can't collect any like terms there, so we leave the answer in that surd form. Okay, so hopefully this helped in simplifying surds.